Ruslan.
This is the moment some of you have been waiting for. The illustrious, the magnetic, the multicultural, multi-generational, internationally known on a microphone, Indie Tribe, ladies and gentlemen.
How's your kids? How's your wife?
They here. They here.
Explicit.
They here. I've known all of you guys for the better part of a decade. I think I may have known Michael the longest when we came through with the Blueprint Church in 2015. And a little bit later, I met the rest of you guys. Congratulations on the success of the album. It's doing incredible. Not only did you guys get the #2 album on iTunes, but y'all got the #8 most streamed album on freaking Spotify. I didn't even know there was a chart.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was a chart.
Set off all the bombs, bro. Set off all the bombs.
Talk about the making of this album. I saw some of the coverage from Rapzilla. They were talking about it. You guys all got into a house together. You almost killed each other, and John Keith almost killed himself eating broccoli. Tell me what that process was like of you guys making the project, living together, and the whole backstory to how this album came together.
Well, I mean, we didn't all almost kill each other, but John definitely almost killed himself on the broccoli, and then Michael and John almost killed each other multiple times. But I'll let them tell that. But yeah, man, no, being in the house together was like instrumental in this project, like it coming together the way that it did. Like people have listened to the album and said that they could tell we were together. You know, they could feel the energy. It's just a completely different product than doing it remote. And I think that's how we were able to like mesh all of our sounds together into a new sound instead of it just kind of phone it in remotely.
Got it. So, okay, so tell me, I'm still trying to figure out the broccoli situation. So John Keith, who doesn't eat vegetables, is eating broccoli and choking. And what's happening? Y'all like laughing at him, or is somebody giving him the Heimlich? What happened?
I'll tell you what's happening. Okay, so first of all, yes, I don't eat vegetables. You know what I'm saying? That's my first mistake. That was the mistake #1. Mistake #2 was I told Rick, don't cook my broccoli because God didn't make it cooked. I also found out later on God didn't even make broccoli. So whatever. Point is, I'm eating raw broccoli and it just gets stuck. Joint got stuck in my throat. I was like, yo, I'm trying to push it out, not working. Suck it down, not working. So I'm running to the sink. Michael thought it was hilarious. And he starts roasting me while I'm about to die. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe this. John Keith is going to die from some broccoli, and my homies, you know what I'm saying, is I think it's hilarious. So yeah, the Holy Spirit saved me. That's what happened. He just pushed it down.
That's amazing. So no one gave you the Heimlich. I was waiting for that punchline. I was waiting. Somebody ran up from behind you, caressed you, and gave you the Heimlich, and it came out.
I definitely would have just punched him directly in his chest.
Yeah. See, Michael's the.
You would have punched him directly in the shot. Okay, let's talk about punching people
right
in the chest.
In his sternum.
Michael, is it true that when the homie Sematics got robbed and the laptop got lost and some of the files got lost, Dill, your laptop got or something got lost that was important for videos and audio?
Yeah.
And that whole album got scrapped. Is it true? Which is shout out to all the folks who raised funds and got that back really quick financially, but the files were gone. And Michael, is it true that the only thing you were concerned about is if everybody was still going to your wrestling match that day?
That's half true. So what happened is when John called me, I was like, he told me everything, and I was like, damn, man, I'm so sorry, man. Like it was like I'm gonna give you the real spill. Like y'all remember that Drake meme when KD got hurt in the finals? Drake was like, "Oh man," did like a whole acting spiel, but he didn't want KD in the game. That was me. I was like, "Oh, y'all got robbed. Oh man," did a whole acting thing, and I was like, "Y'all still coming?"
What was y'all response? What was the answer? Were y'all still coming? What did y'all?
I'm literally talking to the police right now. Like, probably not gonna make it, man. Like, we just lost $10,000 worth of stuff. We probably not gonna make it, bro.
Oh man.
Well, not
I
only
look
stuff,
back.
but the album, like the album was already recorded, correct? Like
So
the
it
whole
was.
joint.
It wasn't.
So-
That's not. So that's two different. That's two different things, actually.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the robbery was the music video footage.
Right.
That's what got stolen, and then all of Cinematics like equipment and SD cards and all of that. That's what got robbed from it, and then some like personal stuff. So we were down there to shoot videos. We had already shot stuff. Everything was, all the video stuff was taken, and then the album was a whole different situation where
A different robbery?
No, it wasn't a robbery.
Man.
It was-
Okay.
A
Okay.
technological
I was like,
robbery.
yo, this is the most wild album that has ever came together.
It's
So
still wild.
So hold on. So the files got lost or corrupted with the album. Is that what happened?
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
the-
The most frustrating
Joints are
thing
gone.
ever.
Whose fault was that? And did y'all find them?
To be real with you, man, I'll take the blame, but I don't think it's anybody's fault. I think it's more so like my computer was bugging because we had a hard drive connected. We was saving everything, like it was crazy. And then I think it was like we did the camp for like, it was a week-long camp. After we took a week off after that, I was kind of like, oh, the group chat was dead. It was kind of like, all right, little vacation from the vacation. And then the week after, like 2 weeks after the actual camp, everybody's like, all right, cool, let's start getting this rolling. Yo, hey, do you have this file? Do you have this file? And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Look through my computer, don't find it. I'm scrolling, can't find. I'm like, let me hit up Anthony. And Anthony is our photographer and stuff like that. And he works for Apple. So he was like giving me the rundown. All right, here's what you got to do to get files back. Look at the date. And yo, literally, I only had one full song saved and maybe 2 references that we were not going to use.
No.
Everything else was gone. Like the dates were missing. Like it was as if we did not save anything. Literally, bro. Literally, bro. Joint was crazy.
So y'all do most of the album. Y'all got to re-record the album. Mowgli, what was it like? Cause that gotta be frustrating. I will be hot if there's songs done and then like I like the takes and then I gotta go in and redo the takes. What was that like, Mowgli, to have to go and redo stuff when so much of what? Yes, I feel like your stuff specifically, and you, all y'all, but Mowgli, yours is so emotional and moment driven to then have to go and recut these super like vulnerable vocals.
Yeah, man, it was actually. I think for me, a lot of my things, I get better performances when I'm by myself, and I can just, obsess over everything and re-record a phrase 200 times until I get it right. Some of the things that were difficult for all of us and really just gave us a lot of headache was like Tribal Council, because we made it from this energy of being together, and we were all just like, the competitive aspect was like in the air, and like you could just hear it in our tone, so it's like we were trying to record the takes. And I remember John, even like there were a couple words where it's like he was like, man, I was rapping all day, my voice was going out.
The hard thing was just getting the emotion and the energy from like some of the raps, because there's just so much intangible. It's like, you can be pronouncing things the right way and on the right time, but if the right tenor from that place of confidence isn't there, then it's just like, we were all getting really frustrated, because we were like, at one point we almost wanted to just like give up, but we definitely needed to encourage each other to just thug it out.
You got it.
I
Okay,
was
so
never gonna give up.
You was never gonna give up.
Gonna give up, and I wasn't gonna let them give up either. I gave them a speech through iMessage. So we gotta get this right, man. We can do it.
Yeah,
Dill was like,
lie, bro.
Dill was like, we're professionals. This is what we do. This is just, we just gotta get through this. We're all professional vocal performance athletes. This is what we gotta do.
He was like, man, like, we just have to, lean on each other and do this. And Michael was like, man, shut your. And I was like, that's crazy.
Really was.
Dill went into A&R mode. Dill was like, look, man,
Nah,
we got
Dill
money
went Coach K.
invested. We need to finish this joint.
Dill went full Coach K, full fourth quarter rally comeback speech on that.
They called it the halftime speech.
I like that. Okay, so my question to you guys is, well, first of all, backstory. John Keith met Dill and Michael at the first Indie Tribe tour, which I don't know if you guys talked about that, but obviously different lineup with RG We don't need to unpack all that. You guys already talked about that on the Cruise channel. My question though is, when you guys went to do this supergroup project, right? What was it about the name Indie Tribe that made you guys want to retain and stick to the name instead of just kind of launching something new? Because there was really no lose either way. Like, I think either one would have worked. But was it just more of like Dill and Mowgli, you guys having this sweat equity in Indie Tribe and having built it out? Or what was it about, like, making this the second iteration of Indie Tribe instead of just kind of calling it something totally different?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So Indie Tribe is like, man, it's been around since 2014, really. And it started with just an idea I had, like, locally with, like, the original Indie Tribe was just some, like, homies here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we just kind of pulled our resources as creatives, and it was like all different types of creatives, and then linked up with Mowgli during that process, and like started recording stuff together in his apartment in college. And that's what Indie Tribe was born out of. And it had all these, like, ideas and concepts with it, like this, like, shared values and pooling our resources and really doing things for the good of the other people involved, even if it's not the most advantageous monetarily or positionally for you, but it's like we're stronger together. You know what I mean? Like, and so those ideas were baked into the Indie Tribe name and the brand and the original vision. So we didn't want to, like, call it something else just because there's new people in it, because we wanted to keep that same energy, that same meaning. And I think that with this lineup, like, everybody understood that really even before they joined, like, even just as friends, as followers of the movement, like, they got it. And that was, like, extremely important for this iteration of it. Was like, there was no guesswork going here. We've known each other for years. And I explained it like we didn't have that advantage the first time. It's not anybody's fault. It's just, we just kind of all banded together when we first had any traction at all on the internet. Like, we dropped our first things, and then within a couple months, Indie Tribe was like the set roster. You know what I'm saying? Whereas here we have this huge advantage that we've known these guys for 5 years. So it's instead of being based on, like, man, I really liked your project, I've spent, 24 hours with you, all together, and I think we can really do this. This is, bro, I've been doing this with you for like 5 years, especially with Michael. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, we've been like all over the country together on tours, like, you know what I'm saying?
So hold on. Why was Michael not original member of Indie Tribe? I'm confused.
Oh, here we go. Hey, you know what? Let me say what Michael's gonna say, because I've heard it so many times. Let me just say, okay. Man, I was there since the conception, but, like, you know what I'm saying? I was talking to Dill. I was like, yo, let me Indie Tribe. And he was like, yo, we don't do DJs. Like, we don't do DJs. And, like, I was like, man, but I was a part of, like, I was there since the conception, but I mean, like, just couldn't get down.
I really was, though. There's no cap. I met Dill at Flavorfest. I met Dill at Flavorfest 2013 when he had a bandana and a small afro, and he was tubby.
As a kid.
Yo,
and he was
no, but what
that
John
was crazy.
said is true. What John said is true. So here's the thing, man. When we started, Michael he wasn't a solo, he wasn't like a recording artist. Like, he was just a DJ. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to be artist focused so we could really build this foundation. This man is a bona fide artist now, like, with real monthly followers, like, with, you know what I'm saying, like, with a catalog now. So it actually makes sense at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's so happy. He's so happy. He got his own playlist. He popping. He look good. Beard's right.
Yo,
everyone. Okay. So this is a follow-up question that actually comes from our Patreon community. If you guys don't know, we got one of the illest Patreon communities in the internet, and they hit me with this question. I'm going to go back to the tribe. They hit me with this question. Justin said, question for No Big Deal. When Indie Tribe was in its concept phase, how did you create the buy-in from your friends and family? I like how he pointed that out, because a lot of times the early day ones are your friends and family, like your real life friends, and the people who would eventually join the tribe. Asking this question because Indie Tribe has created a strong, committed following that had to be created through strong buy-in from everyone a part of it. It sets the tribe apart from others. So how did you create that buy-in, Dill and Mowgli?
Yeah, I think so. Again, with the beginning of it, I mean, me and Mowgli were local. We're in the same place. We have like the same visions, and it started out with like realizing that stuff in the bedroom studio together and dreaming up that stuff together, you know, putting out those mixtapes. So that was the genesis, and that's very organic. That's very genuine. You know what I'm saying? There was no sense in where one of us had an advantage over another. Actually, Mowgli was considerably more popular than me at the time, because he had like a following at MTSU, which I did not. You know what I'm saying? So it was more, at that time, it was more like Mowgli sacrificing his time, not charging me anything, like, you know, really showing me the ropes on like recording and stuff like that. So anyway, there was a really genuine like relationship at the core of it. And so I think, and I can let these guys speak to it too, because it really matters what they think about it. But I think in everything that me and Mowgli have done in the last few years, it's very genuine like that, and it's very organic like that, and it's very based on, it's very based on, yeah, just like being genuine with people and trying to extend that to our fans and our supporters. Like, I feel like our supporters feel like they are part of the tribe, which is how they're supposed to feel. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're our subjects or anything. They're just as much a part of this. And I still attribute that just to like the core of it and the genesis of it being steeped in that like genuine relationship. But I want to hear what they say too.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to that really, I think, especially at the very early beginning, it was people that just, the buy-in was a shared value and a shared vision, and like the idea of just like wanting to create something on with a similar goal in mind. And then it was just like, hey, let's work. You know, we were working with everybody, you know, so it's not like we had to like really compel people to like hop in, because people that we worked with at any capacity were just on the same trajectory anyway. And it made sense. And as things got bigger, and, you know, life takes people in different directions, and we continued to find people that were like-minded at every stage of the process.
Why launch another collective and not just align yourself with the behemoth Reach Records that we all kind of knows in the room, and a lot of times takes up a lot of the energy and attention? And no knock to those guys, but we know behind the scenes, and I don't mean to put this out there, but Dale, you had a bit of a bidding war early on between multiple labels. You know, when you were indie, the first iteration, Tribe was just getting on the move the first time, and you decided to pass on Reach and go to Capitol, and intentionally kind of carve out your own lane. And I'm sure that could have been, I mean, Michael practically lives at Reach Records, so I'm sure that could have been a thing where y'all could have partnered with them on something. Why intentionally kind of build out your own thing?
Yeah, we man, shout out Reach. I love Reach, man. I love everything that they've done and that they're doing, and those are the homies for sure. Where we couldn't make it work is the financial structure and the creative freedom. It's just brass tacks. That is what it is.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie,
you made that so much more intense.
Bro, I thought that sound effect was like where John was. I was like, yo, are we just gonna ignore the fact that there's bombs going off right now?
Keep talking, Dale.
Yeah, so anyway, look, man, it's ownership. You know what I'm saying? I want all my people to own their masters. I want all my people.
Yeah. I want that. Yeah.
This is so crazy. I can't even keep a straight face. I want everybody to own their masters. I want everybody to set their families up financially. these are legacy artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So I cannot keep going with the either beat, bro. I'm like, this is crazy. This is so wild. Like, I'm thinking about Nas's verse.
That's crazy.
For real.
You know we was gonna have a good time when y'all when y'all came on here, man. Come on.
It's perfect. It's just that song is so legendary. The lyrics are in my head. I can't think about. But yeah, I want everybody to own their masters. I want everybody to equally feel ownership to Indie Tribe, because again, that just goes back to like our core, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want everybody to have complete like solo creative freedom.
Yeah.
So whereas like when we come together to make a project, then we have to decide how Indie Tribe, the act itself, like what messages, what sound, all of that we want to do. But when John Keith is doing an album, or Mowgli's doing an album, or Michael's doing an album, short of it like being you know what I'm saying, like heretical or morally wrong, true, I'm not micromanaging that. Nobody's micromanaging that. Nobody's saying, no, that's not like a good enough idea, like marketing or rollout wise. Like we'll give each other ideas and help elevate, but it's not like, now you got to wait to drop, and actually you got to change your artistry to be like this, which is what happens at labels. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's just yeah.
So my question to you, Dill, and I've actually meant to ask you this for a while, considering you are independent, Indie Tribe was a thing, how was the decision to go to Capitol for a season? And by the way, I think your move to Capitol in hindsight was genius. Like, you got in, you got out, you hemmed them up and you got out of there real quick. And I thought from a business standpoint, it was brilliant. But do you think that was a bit incongruent, like having said what you just said, to then go to Capitol Christian for a season? Even though it turned out masterfully, but in the moment, did that feel weird, being the indie guy who then goes and does a record deal out of Capitol?
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of felt that, like what you're talking about. So the original Indie Tribe, like we just talked about a minute ago, there really wasn't anything in it that meant like independent artists in its genesis. It was more independent of the status quo, independent of like the stereotypes, and it was this whole idea of doing things differently, not necessarily the ownership piece and all that. That kind of came out of the Capitol era. Like that was added.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like having gone through that, it was like, oh no, this is not the move. And so then there was this new zeal for ownership and independence.
Got it. And what would you say the biggest takeaway was from being at Capitol?
The biggest takeaway, I mean, it just heavily influenced owning your art. Like, it can't be overstated. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't own my art. I'll put it like this. All my numbers when I was on Capitol went up. Every single metric went up, like music sales, music streams, ticket sales, social media followers, all metrics except one. And that's how much money I made. I made more when I was I made more money when I was independent off my first album that did a fraction of what the album on Capitol did. And when I was on Capitol, I'm like, dang, I got to do a Patreon. Dang, I got to do a feature sale. When I was independent, we bought a house off the first album. And I was chilling. I was like, I just got to do this and do shows and do merch. Signed the label and was like, we got to find other income. Like, I might need to start like teaching creative writing classes again. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this can't be life. You know what I'm saying? I got to get out of here. So, yeah.
Right. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, man. I actually didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that that's how the finances. I mean, you know that just from a royalty standpoint and like a usually how it works out. But I didn't know it was that for you because the first record was so successful. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so I have a question. Wait, Mowgli, are we talking about what you talked about? Are we gonna make that announcement, or is that not an announcement yet?
Yes, make it.
We can talk a little bit about it, but we still don't have all the specificity yet.
Okay. So let's
but
not
Michael,
talk about it, or should we talk about it?
No, we can say that it's happening, just with with less details.
Got it. Okay. It's on the way, ladies and gentlemen. In the coming months, there will be the first of its kind. Is the city correct? Is the city in Atlanta? Is it still happening in Atlanta for sure?
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about, wow.
I thought you were talking about how Upper Hand is starting on multiple charts on Billboard.
Yeah, talk about that. Way to pivot. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Where we at on Billboard? Talk to me about Billboard, Mowgli.
Well, so we got the email on Sunday, and we have one specific chart confirmed and several others in contention and a couple others that are a maybe. But, the report comes out tomorrow, and, so it's the news is good. We'll figure out how good the news is soon.
Nah, bump that. We on Billboard. Y'all said we couldn't do it, and we did it. That's it. That's it.
That's crazy.
Everybody was hating.
That's crazy.
Cats was eyeing. Cats was side eyeing. Oh, the music ain't even that dope. Oh, wow. Guess what? We on Billboard, bro. We on Billboard. Not one Billboard.
Wow.
Not 2 billboards. Not even 3 billboards. We on 4.
Wow.
It's official.
Wow.
4 billboards. Independent.
Yep. And Rude, this goes to what we were talking about earlier, but another thing that like Mowgli said to me when I was like coming out of that label situation is that like the ethic of generosity, like the Christian ethic of generosity, like it's much more attainable independent, right? And so we put that into practice with this project. With all the producers that were a part of this project, they have almost double the percentage on the album than my artist percentage on Capitol. You know what I'm saying? Like just to show how much the labels like when they own the masters, how much a piece of the pie that they take. It's like when you own the whole thing, then you can be more generous with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can give. So all of our artist royalties are exactly the same. Like we're not playing the game of like of hierarchy or nothing like that. Like these guys, we all own the exact same amount, and then the producers, it's a much more generous situation than it was on the label because I know what it was on the label. So it's just those are the advantages of being independent, and that's why we want to do something different. I really don't know of any structure within a collective like ours that exists.
And what's really dope is that, there was the original inception of Indie Tribe that was more of like, following, like doing things independently from the way that the world does things or what the status quo is, whether that's, our spiritual journeys, how we treat people, how we mirror Jesus, or how, we structure our business. But now that the business side has become part of that, and now that we've scaled up, we've had more to steward, and we have more opportunities to actually choose a different path and actually have like consequence. So that's an ongoing conversation. That there'll be things that we observed in other situations, and we're just like, you know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it different.
Got you. That's dope, man. That's really encouraging to hear. I think what allows you guys to do that is because everybody has their pre-established things in motion outside of Indie Tribe. So instead of Indie Tribe being the vehicle that necessarily levels everybody up, which is going to do that by proxy because the record is so successful, I feel like everybody was already established. Michael was already out here getting show money. Mowgli was already out here putting out a gang of music. John Keith putting out a gang of music. So I think that allows the ability to come together in a way that is unorthodox, because this isn't really like a group. It's more of like a collective. It's more of like a movement, which is really inspiring, man. So question for you guys. All right. Question for you. Did you have something to say, Mowgli? Sorry, I thought you put your hand up. Holy smokes. Hold on. Holy smokes. You see what I did there? You see what I did there?
Oh, shoot.
Holy smokes. So in terms of what is happening in the future, That's what I was trying to get to that announcement. Folks are already asking for tours. Folks are already asking for something else that we had talked about, Mowgli. Sorry if we're not talking about that yet. What's happening in the future that y'all can talk about?
I mean, there will be shows.
There will be shows.
Something crazy is coming, and it's not going to be that people aren't going to have to wait a long time. But just know that itch is going to be scratched. That's what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, yo, pause.
Don't pause.
Okay.
Don't pause. Rewind and play in slow motion, player. Scratching itches out here, doggy. You already know what time it is. You feel that tickle? Yeah. Billboard Keith is coming to scratch that with him and all his homies. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What I loved about this rollout was seeing all of you guys active on TikTok. I love seeing you guys put up IG reels. I love seeing you guys really leverage social media and communicate the why with the practical action step. This is what we want. This is why this is important. This is what you can do. Go pre-order the album on iTunes, which I think is why you guys got such a high charting. So many artists today, and this drives me nuts, is they're looking at the Kendricks, the Coles, and the NFs, and they're thinking that is how you do it. I just want to drop music and disappear for 9 months or a year and never be visible on social media because that's how Kendrick does it. Kendrick disappears for 4 years, guys, and he doesn't do anything. J. Cole disappears. NF never does any marketing, guys. What do you guys have to say on the other side of putting out a successful record and all the artists that are looking at this and if they got this false dilemma of I got to be a pure artist that disappears like Kendrick and Cole and NF, or I got to be a TikTok entertainer Cardi B type artist, right? I think it's so toxic and so detrimental to the generation of artists that's coming, that's creating this false dilemma where I don't think it's either or. I think if Kendrick and Cole were new artists today, they would be doing exactly what Indie Tribe did to get the noise and to get the attention. So how do you guys feel about that? And let's unpack that because I want to get into some nuts and bolts of the marketing behind this. Go ahead, Michael.
I totally agree with what you're saying because I've seen so many artists in our space do that. And whenever because there's people that come to me or they ask me or they kind of nudge me a little bit, hey, like, what can, like, yo, my listeners are going down. Yo, this is going down. Yo, like all this stuff about promoting singles and yo, why, like, how do I get it out there? And what you said is exactly what it is. Everybody wants to be like a Kendrick, like a Cole, like a Drake. Right. And it's like Drake, Kendrick, and Cole were doing the things that you don't want to do when you guys were in the same position as artists. So when Drake and Kendrick and Cole were independent artists coming up in their city, they were literally going, like, they were low-key the annoying people on the subway, handing out CDs, like, yo, check me out. Bro, J. Cole literally got the scoop that Jay-Z was at a studio, rushed to the studio just to catch Jay-Z walking out of the studio to hand him a joint. Like, artists in CHH wouldn't even do that because they're so high on themselves. It's like nobody wants to do like the social media, this. Everybody wants to be discreet and like weird. And I'm like, yo, I feel you. I love the artsy. I'm a pure artist vibe. I rock with it. I understand it. When you have a set fan base that you have that demand, I get it. But when people are still coming up and they think that, you know, oh, I got 500,000 listeners. Oh, I got 600,000 listeners. I'm like, bro, that's nothing compared to where you want to be. Why would you go ghost and not include your fan base? Like, I get the demand, the mystery. I get all that, bro. But it doesn't make any sense, especially in the subgenre that we're in, to be quiet and kind of be mysterious in that way and not engage and not be like whatever. Because there's artists, I guarantee you in our space, I know for a fact that wouldn't have done what we done. Hey, guys, we need 1,500 pre-orders. Can you pre-order our joint? Cats would have been too prideful to do that. They would have been like, nah, let it do what it does. Like, we'll do whatever. Hey, we want to get on Billboard. Buy our album. There's artists that are too prideful that will not say or do that. They'll be like, let it do what it does, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we all came together on the same wave to be like, yo, you know what? Bump that. We want to make a movement. We want to make a splash. We want to show people how it's done. We want to change the flow of things. We want to push this needle forward. How to do it? Let's do it the way that we want to do it.
Come on,
exactly. Just to add to that, we all spent a lot of time planning out like posts for the week, strategies for the week. Like, hey, what can we do with each point of the marketing plan leading up to the release? what can we do to use Reels? What can we do to use stories? What can we do to leverage Twitter Spaces? What are all these new emerging types of platforms? But what it also required was a conscious decision of us to be like, look, all of these companies like make it really hard just to hit people that follow you. You know, so there's a move. There's a difference between using social media for like clout and vanity and using it to effectively market a product, and they're gonna feel different because it's going to stroke your ego if you do one little like mysterious post with like a vague caption and then delete everything on your grid and that post goes up. But it's like, yo, still only maybe 10% of people that follow you even saw that. So it's going to hurt your ego a little bit to keep posting the same thing when it feels like, even if your numbers on each post aren't that crazy vanity moment, you're hitting more people, you're hitting more people. And that's something that we've all been stressing. It's like, look, according to the numbers, there are people that that are already interested in my music, they want to hear what's going on and they're not aware, So that's also part of the reason we built a Discord, So we built a Discord community that was actually really, really strong in pre-orders and helping some of the organic push throughout some of the other channels. It's just looking at everything we can and trying to keep the goal in mind, which, we had the ambition to set a high goal and just kind of shoot for the clouds with the pre-order.
Yeah, it's like to go off of what Mowgli was saying, like I have like 75,000 people following me, right? So I can do the thing where I don't post for a month and then post and get 12,000. Let's say I get 15,000 likes. That's, what I'm saying? Like there's 75,000 people who follow me. So yeah, I can stroke my ego with this crazy post that has 15,000 likes, and then only those people know about it, and only a fraction of them are gonna be motivated to do anything. Or I can post more frequently, those numbers go down, but more of my fan base is seeing it, making sure I'm hitting, the grid, hitting stories, hitting Reels, hitting Twitter, hitting Facebook, which I really like. They have to push me on that because I'm not even on Facebook like that. But it's like, nah, we gotta like to really live that principle of like, man, these are people that want to experience this, and they would be supportive, but they just don't even know about it because we're wanting to play that like Kendrick game. But and like what Michael was saying, like those guys earn that. Like they get to do that. They didn't always do that. Like K Dot, like famously was on MySpace doing the whole MySpace game. You know what I'm saying? Like J. Cole was handing out demos. Like Big Sean was freestyling for anybody who came through Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And finally got that moment with Kanye. So those guys can do that, But yeah, you have to put in your dues. You got to earn your stripes to make you'll get to that point. But it's just, do you really want? And if you really have that independent spirit, like you cannot have that issue and make it independent. Like all the people who make it independent, like the indie heroes, none of them have that like weird prideful thing of like, oh, I got, I only want to post and then hop off for 2 years. Like you look at people like Russ, you know what I'm saying? Like, the
and I just gotta cut in real quick because people don't understand how much work we put in for this, right? So like we realize that to chart Billboard is weighted with streaming, so we don't have millions of monthly listeners to compete, but what we can compete, we know that our audience is likely to buy, but people don't buy music anymore, right? There's no incentive to buy music anymore, right? So what we did is we made an exclusive track that, we just made a whole song and we made a good song. And then we said, look, we're never going to release this. The only way that you can ever get this track is if you pre-order the album and then DM the Indie Tribe Instagram account a screenshot of your purchase. Yeah. And then beyond that, after we did that and we continued to push it, I spent over 9 hours responding to DMs and getting the people the link. Like that's a lot of work, bro. Like that's manual labor, dog.
Just for the link. That was just getting people the link. Like,
Yeah,
But we sold hundreds of. We don't even know how many records we sold at this point because Apple has been buns giving us data. But like we sold a gang of records direct on our website because we also decided like, hey, a lot of people that use Androids, they're not going to be able to buy the album, right? So we made a specific way just for Android people to buy it from us direct, and we get a little bit more money that way too. We sold a gang of those. We sold a gang of pre-orders, but it all took a lot of work.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with pre-orders that I think people don't understand and it is that it but it trains your audience to shop with you. Because now everybody, especially in CHH, everybody got Spotify, which is great. It's a great service, and everybody can just pay the $10 a month and passively listen to whatever the flavor of the week is. But when someone has to go to extra mile to purchase something from you, you're now training their buying habits differently. And then they're more likely to buy the merchandise. Then they're more likely to come to a show. Then they're more likely to, you know what I mean, to buy the next album or to pre-order the next artist album. So I think from a consumer spending habits, I think it's genius that you guys did that. And it's unfortunate that more people don't do that because in the CHH community, we do have folks I feel like that would be more likely to be mobilized to do that. Did you guys get a lot of pushback from people that were like, why are you telling us to buy the album when we could just wait and just come on Spotify?
Man, hey yo, somebody
a lot of people were in our Discord.
Somebody literally actually took a screenshot of a burger that they bought instead of buying the album and sent it to Dill. Literally, Dill was like, yo, they're like, yeah, he was like, yo, like that you can buy the album for what you would buy like a meal with. He screenshotted he actually went to McDonald's and bought a burger instead of buying the album and sent the screenshot to Dill.
Yeah, that's so disrespectful, yo.
I told him he should have blocked him. We should have blocked him from everything.
I like gave a specific meal that would cost $9.99. Like it was very specific. Like I can't remember the items, but I like said those items, and he like took a picture of an itemized receipt with the exact order. And it's not like he did that and was like, oh, it's a joke, but I also pre-ordered the album. Like that was it. Like he just bought the burger and that was it. But yeah, but I mean, I don't.
Did you reply?
Nah, I didn't reply. I just sent the screenshot to my MO is not to reply. I usually just don't reply to anything unless it's
my MO is to block. You're just gonna get blocked. I'm gonna block you and make sure you can never see anything we do ever again.
I'm gonna say this on Ruslan's channel for all the artists out there watching this. Don't block them, bro. Don't block them. Restrict them, because then they still get to see everything. Still comment, and maybe they'll still spend money with you down the line, but you don't have to hear from them, and your fans won't hear from them because their comments only appear to them. It's so genius. Thank you.
I'm way too petty.
Incredible.
I'm way too petty. Let me tell you something. I want to block them and make sure that you can't see free stuff. You can't, like, I want you to know, like, restricting, that's too passive for me. I need you to know that you never get to see anything ever again.
You just so petty, John Keith. Petty
Absolutely.
Keith. Okay, guys, if you have a question for Indie Tribe right now, drop it in. I'm gonna go to our Patreon community. We got a question from the homie Bats. And this is actually a good question. Hold on, let me refresh this real quick. Hey, by the way, not sure if you guys know, guys, 50% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you click out, subscribe, hit that bell notification, all that good stuff. All right, so the question for Bats is, are there any concerns of people getting overshadowed as an artist? What are your guys' plan on establishing roles for each person, and how did you choose who to pick? So I think the better question is there any concern for anybody getting overshadowed?
No, not at all. And I say that because before me and John even said yes to coming in Indie Tribe, we all like sat down but in a way sat down and said, yo, if this is going to work, we have to be transparent. We have to be honest with each other. We have to be loving with each other. We have to understand each other, and we have to not hold anything back. If we feel a type of way, I'd rather us tell each other the way we feel than to go and say it to somebody else, and then we harbor those feelings, and then that becomes the rift that breaks us. I was like, I said this outwardly. I was like, I don't want to be another like CHH group that breaks up because they just disagree with each other or it was whatever. Like there was so many that we listed that were like just broke up eventually because everybody just didn't like each other. I'm like, I never want to get to that point because I love Dill, I love Mowgli, I love John. Apart from music, like I rock with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, even if music was not involved, they're and coming to my wedding, they're involved in my life. Like they encourage me. Vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think we established that from the jump. And then whenever we do feel overshadowed or we're like, yo, and we are honest and we feel like, yo, XYZ, we all come together to encourage that person, or we all come together to kind of just iron that out in any way, or why that person would feel that way.
On top of that too, it's like, I think it'd be different if a lot of us were in the same lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never gonna like overshadow Dill because I do something different than Dill does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to drop a pop project that's like all melodies, all singing, it's all of that. Like, no one's gonna be like, man, this is so much better than No Big Deal, because it's not the same thing. It's not even close. Dill is not dropping pop records. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dropping like the, you know what I'm saying, like the darker, like emo, like rock style that Mowgli does. I'm not like, we just don't do the same things. You know what I'm saying? So like, if someone wants to look at it and be like, they're overshadowing somebody else, that's really not what it is. It's just they're in two different lanes and we get together and we do Indie Tribe. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's where we blend together and Indie Tribe has its own sound. But other than that, like, I don't make music that sounds like Dill or Michael or Mowgli and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I love it, man. That's a good question.
And just to even add on to that too, I think even where there is, you know, discrepancy, you know, like Dill is a much larger artist than I am. Like he gets a lot more streams than I do. But there's just the mentality of like, I have my goal for where I want to be in my music career. And if I hit that goal and Dill is still the same ratio of success beyond me, great. Like if I'm the least successful person on Indie Tribe and I'm still hitting like my goals, like where I want to be it's not tied to like a hierarchy of like who's more poppin' or anything to like that. So I think all of us have healthy mentalities just in addressing that anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys have some really good boundaries set, and it sounds like you guys did really learn from all the folks that came before y'all, including Dream Junkies and the, you know, the stuff that we went through. 116.
Yes, sir. Dream Junkies forever. You know what I'm saying? Dream Junkies forever. Let's go.
But in that same breath, we learned from you guys in other ways too, because we referenced you guys outwardly and specifically because y'all came out with one of the top 3 best projects in our space, and we listed you as like. Stop. Don't even get me started.
It is what it is, bro. Ruslan, it is what it is. You're not going to escape the fact that that's what you guys did together. It is what it is.
Yeah. Bro, Good Religion is top 3 to top 5 CHH albums of all time, and I can argue that all day and night, and I will win.
I've heard you argue it before. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, stop it. You're stroking my ego. That was a...
but we used Dream Junkies and We Live as Kings and 116 and we took what they did great. And we took that, and we also seen what they did bad, and we were like, let's learn from these mistakes. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's learn from, let's not do this. Let's not do that. Okay, what did that do? Let's take that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
But he's not blowing smoke, like for real. Like top 2 influences for how we built this thing out and like marks we want to hit and stuff. Definitely Dream Junkies, We Live as Kings. Like.
Yeah, we still got to perform on Kimmel, but it's all good.
We were never on We were never.
Bro,
on
you still
Kimmel.
got that
We were on
contact?
Carson Daily.
We were on
Carson Daily.
You still got the Carson Daily contact,
I have to go
bro?
through
Send that over here, bro.
I don't think that show is up anymore, but that was fun. That late night TV thing was fun. In terms of the creation of the album, we're getting a lot of questions from the creation of the album. We talked about some of that early. I think a good question I saw my man Philip ask. From day one, what is on your head, John? From day one to when the album came out, how long of a window? and how many phases did that come together? Because the timeline's a little murky on my end, because I know there was files that got corrupted, the house situation, re-recording, all that kind of stuff. So from day one,
6 months.
we're doing an album to execution.
We got together and did the camp in November. We lost everything. Feel me? And then we decided. Then like by the time we started redoing everything was actually, I think it was like the second or third week of January, because Dill was like, Dilly, I'm on Sabbath. I'm on vacation. I'm not going to do nothing with Dilly. I'm not doing nothing until
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So we couldn't do nothing.
Hold on. Dill went on Sabbath in the middle of the indie
crisis,
tribe
yes.
making of them?
In the middle of the crisis, yes.
Listen, boundaries, Sabbath principles, they're proven when it's inconvenient. I do it every year. After the holidays, I Sabbath, I rest, I dedicate that time to God. If I didn't do that because I'm in the middle of a project, then I don't really like. I'm bending my principles for you know what I'm saying, my career. So
I'm not saying you wrong for that. You right for that. I'm just saying you did say, Dilly, I'm not going. I don't know if I can, sticks.
So hold on. Sticks. So how? Okay. So the writing camp happens. So 6 months total from the very first kind of brainstorming writing camp to when the
From
album
no
comes out.
songs existing to the album coming out with 3 music videos done and a whole bunch more stuff we can't talk about. Got it.
How productive was that writing camp? Because I feel like writing camps usually just turn into everybody hanging out.
Hey yo, no. Here's the thing, bro. When we went into that, we were like, okay, so there is a time to work, because I literally did a writing camp directly before this one, directly before Tribal Council. I did my own writing camp. Let me tell you something. That thing was completely unproductive. That thing, I walked away with 0 songs because we walked in there and said, we're working the whole time, period. That's what's happening, right? Everyone got tired. Everyone got exhausted. Things didn't get finished. I also just didn't. I was the only writer there. Everybody else was producers. That was a foul thing. And that was just a wrong thing to do on my behalf. But for this, it was like, look, we get up. We're going to do Bible study, right? We start work at 12, and then we're done at like 10. You can do whatever you want. But that from 12 to 10 is when we're working. Other than that, actually it was 1 to 10 because 12 was lunch. So we did Bible study at 10 a.m. 11 to 12 was you can do whatever. You can go and have your own quiet prayer time. You can call your family. You can do whatever. Then 12 to 1 was lunch. Then 1 we started. 10 o'clock we're finished. You can do whatever. You can keep working if you want, or you can hang out. We can play Smash Bros. Dill can take 17 Ls because he sucks. He's the worst at the game ever. He's terrible. He's awful. He's bad. He's not good at it. He's gonna lose forever. He's horrible. And then we can go back into, you know what I'm saying, making music and being brothers. He sucks so much.
I need Ruslan, I need a rebuttal. So what everybody just heard was all true about the camp. We did set it up that way. And I think the point he was making before he decided to blatantly lie was that it's more productive when you build in time for community, time for communion with God, time for rest, time to contact your family. It's counterintuitive. Like people think, oh, you get together 24/7 grind. That's what, that's like sexy. That's what people like to talk about.
Right.
We were 3 to 4 times more productive by having all that built-in community time, devotion time, than we would have been if we were like, we're coming in here and we're grind mode. You know what I'm saying?
On top of that, yeah, me and Dylan Mowgli stepped off of social media for like the whole week. Michael couldn't do it, but like the rest of us, we got off social media. Like all, you know what I'm saying? Like,
which is really important because that was the week of the election too. So there was like all the static to distract you and divide you, and it was the worst week to be distracted.
Yeah, we made a commitment at the beginning to not be on social media. So that's true. It was all the things that we just talked about. Made a commitment like internally with the four here to not be on social media the whole week. And then we invited everybody else who was there into that commitment. And most of them took it. Pretty much everybody took it. There was some, some people maybe weren't as strict on it, but in general, it was a social media free environment, making it a lot less stressful. Like I forgot it was the election week because we weren't on it. You know what I'm saying? That could have caused a lot of different.
So you guys didn't vote. So you guys didn't vote, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't vote. I didn't.
We vote early.
The answer
I didn't vote.
I voted Andrew Yang 2021.
You can guess, Ruslan. You can guess
vote.
Based on each person what happened. Like me, early voting.
I did not vote.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I did not vote.
Okay. Last question. The pushback with CHH, some of the CHH audience tends to be, oh, it's more watered down now. The content isn't as spiritually compelling. There's less gospel in the content, right? And I don't want to get into the particulars because I feel like you guys defy that and consistently talk about Jesus and God in the content. But there argument can be made that the culture has shifted further and further left, where certain things just tend to be more accepted. Having too many drinks in a public setting, a lot of cats are smoking weed behind the scenes, right? A lot of behavior that, if I'm frank, makes me wildly uncomfortable as a husband, as a dad, as a father. Like, I'm seeing this behavior, and I know where this is gonna play out for somebody when they're in their 30s, to keep casually kind of just being flippant with sin and not being repentful, not being convicted. And I don't, again, it's behind the scenes and in terms of the grander community. What do you guys think? You guys are talking about devotionals. You guys are talking about praying together. You guys are talking about taking your faith serious. They'll talk about Sabbath. What do you think could be done as a community? Because here's my theory, and you guys can push back if you want. I feel like God got a lid on this thing. I feel like because cats ain't out here really pressing into the Lord and living holy, I feel like God is like, I'm not going to give y'all more. I'm not finna give y'all more, because if I give y'all more and I really open up the floodgates, y'all ain't gonna be able to handle it. So Lecrae became the ceiling. Lecrae became the ceiling. But whenever people step outside of the community, they see wild flourishing outside of the community. Whether it's NF, we're seeing Nick D now, who almost has 1 million monthly listeners, right? Universal Republic deal.
He's at 900,000. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy, right? So I think there's a lid on this thing. And I'm also speaking for myself personally. The times where I was most sketchy and most lukewarm, there was a lid on my life. And once I got tight with Jesus, things opened up. So my fear is that because of the stuff happening in the community, behind the scenes, cats is more flippant, cats just talk how they want to talk, cats do what they want to do, cats smoke, cats drink. Not everybody, I'm not talking about everybody, but it's accepted and it's normalized. And we romanticize our struggles and we romanticize our mental health issues. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people pressing into Jesus on a day-to-day level. Indie Tribe here to save lives. What do y'all got planned to help shift this thing so that God can use this beyond just 100,000, 200,000 Rapzilla and Reach Records fans, that this could go beyond, that this can actually be something that is impactful to those far from God in the world?
Man, I want to say first that I've never heard that, Ruslan. That was crazy. And I actually think you're right.
You never heard me talk about this?
No, fool, no, bro. Like,
come on, man.
At first thought, without thinking about it, like, I'm saying, obviously, I'm gonna have to sit and like think about that more. But I think you might I think you might be right, bro. That might be just true. But man, I feel like a lot of the conversation behind the scenes, like the conversations that we have in our group chat, the conversations that we're having at you know what I'm saying, the writing camp, is just like all of this is for nothing if Jesus is not first. And I don't mean Jesus first I don't mean that meaning we have to put scriptures in the raps.
Right.
I mean that being in our real life, like with each other, with our relationships with other artists, with whatever it is that's going on. Even something as simple as, yo, I'm having a moment of pride. Like, to be honest with you, sometimes, bro, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'll hop in the group chat and be like, "Hey, dog, we're better than everyone. Like, we're better than everyone." Like, and Dill literally just a few days ago. This is a true story. Just a few days ago, Dill was like, "Hey, yo, guys, like, we have to not do that. Like, we have to not do the like puffing up, because the thing that's gonna gas us up right now can also like destroy us later on." And it was like, shoot, that's actually true. So like, if our lives, if what is happening does not reflect Jesus, then, you know what I'm saying, then like, even if we're putting scripture in the music and we're talking about, hey, yo, Jesus Christ saves lives, but I'm doing whatever behind the scenes, then Jesus is not, he's not aligned with me in that. We're not walking together on this path. We're not going with Yahweh. Like, that's just, I'm going to put some scriptures in raps and then go do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. Like, us behind the scenes, holding each other to the standard of, we have committed to walk with Jesus, so we're going to walk with Jesus. So that way, even if I'm making a song, we're called Pop Funko, I ain't gonna stop till they turn me to a pop, right? Like, that song is essentially about like, I want to be successful in what I'm doing.
Right.
But even in that, what we're talking about is, I mean, that's where the title for the album came from. If my hand's in the air, then I got the upper hand. Like, I didn't say in that joint, you know, hey, like, Jesus Christ is the only way to true life, and apart from him, we have nothing. And I didn't say that in the record. Mm-hmm. But that is the spirit and that is the heart that's behind it, because of the fact of how we're holding each other to walk with Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And that's my piece. I mean, yeah.
What y'all think? I want to hear from the whole tribe on this.
I mean,
go ahead, Mike.
All right, bet. I mean, man, I'm gonna just keep it a buck because that's all I know how to keep. I mean, Ruslan, I agree with you, bro. Like, everything you said, I agree with you, and I agree with you because I am that person. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is like, me and Dill and Mowgli and John talk about it often. Is like, I feel like people do romanticize their sin, and they've convinced themselves that this is as good as it gets. Like, this is where God has me. This is where I'm gonna be. This is what it is. I've learned to live with it, and I feel like people have romanticized it, especially in their persona and music. It's like, oh, like, this is how I am, and I'm not going to strive for better. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so used to the defeat of backsliding that I'm just like, all right, you know what? This is what it is. And I love God and whatever, like, and I love God, and I'm going to try my absolute best, but there's this one specific part of my life that I cannot literally get over. It is what it is. And for the longest time, I was that person of complacency and, all right, whatever it is, what it is. But there, like I said, I think to answer your question, what will help our community and take that lid off and to do all these things is being accountable to community and having an actual community outside of music. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've gotten to the point that I'm in because I don't have community. And I feel like if I did have a community where I was honest and transparent and have a loving people around me that are outside of music, because I just want that break from music, that it would benefit me in the best way. And I think that people, like, they don't want to be under somebody's wing. You know what I'm saying? They want to do what they want to do, and they want to learn what they want to learn on their own accord. And I get it. I get that. Is that right? Not at all. Not at all. I completely would fully suggest people get under community, because there's so many people that have church hurt that I have as well. But it's like, that's just not an excuse, man. To not be in community at all, to not go to church, to not be accountable to somebody, to not be open to somebody, to not have people in your life because of church hurt is extremely spiritually immature. Sorry to say, be so blunt about it. It's spiritually immature, and it's just you're prolonging your progress by doing that. Like, you don't, like, it's like you don't want to do, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, John.
I wanted to say, with what Michael is saying, like, being a part of community meaning with brothers and sisters that walk how Jesus calls us to walk and hold you accountable to that. Not going, well, I mean, I feel God more when I'm over here than when I'm with people that love Jesus. That's not the same thing, because that's not what Jesus said. Jesus didn't say go and be with people where you feel like God might be there. Like, he didn't say that. He was saying you're supposed to be a part of a body of believers that believe in Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, and the fear is that we are doing so many things for God that we stop doing things with God. We're like, we're making music for God, and it's Christian rap, and and it's like, yeah, like, of course we love Jesus, but like, are we inviting Jesus into the creative process? Are we praying? Are we abiding in him? That's why I love when you guys start talking about devotionals at 10 a.m. and having food together. So, Dill, I want to hear you on this, because I know you guys, obviously, I know all you guys, but I know you guys like really have a heart for Jesus. So I want people to hear your heart for Jesus, so this isn't just something we brush over.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's it. Like, we really believe in Jesus. Like, we really believe that he's true. He didn't stutter when he called the church his body. Like, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a nice little metaphor. Like, we're his hands and his feet. Like, he doesn't, there's no plan B. He wants us to be together in community. He wants us to be the body. That is a gift that he gave to us. That it's an understatement to say he takes it seriously because he died for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so community can't be overstated, and I was, when you were talking about, God having a lid on it, that's something that I haven't considered yet either, but I think that could be true also. And I would just add, like, my walk and our individual walks with Jesus, is like, I'm not motivated to go deeper with Jesus because it may make my career pop off. You know what I'm saying? I still think that you might be right. Like, that might be that might just be like a byproduct of it. Like, like you said, that's a perfect metaphor. I don't need to add to it, but I'm saying I need Jesus because I need Jesus. I need to be in scripture each morning. I need to be in community. I need to be in church. I need to be in prayer because I fall apart without it, because I disintegrate without it. I'm not an integrated person without Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I know that, like, it can be taken as cliche, but it's just true. Like, this stuff could fall apart tomorrow, and it's not going to change how I practice my faith. This stuff could blow up tomorrow, and it's not going to change how I practice my faith. I would need community to make sure that happened, because it would be more tempting for it to change how I practice my faith if it did blow up than if it all fell apart. If it all fell apart, I'm going to press even more in, but community is what's going to help you when it does blow up to stay that course. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's good. Mowgli, any thoughts on this? And I got one last question, and we'll be done.
Yeah, man. The only thing I'd say is, I think when you look at, the new generation of like Christian hip hop and how that's different from, like, you have a generational divide, and you have a format change where, music has become more accessible to more people. And because of that decentralization, there's a lack of regulation. There's lots of gatekeepers. So, you have people that are not going through like the cross movement, like discipleship ecosystem into making music. And, I think we're seeing a lot of the logical consequences of that. But with that said, it's like, this is how it is now. And I think the way that we interface faith and the way we engage with it all just comes because music is just an expression of our hearts, music is an expression of ourselves. And there are people in our community at all different stages of their walk. And we're really trying to just like dig in with each other. I mean, we're even in Indie Tribe, we're at different places in our walk, and there's an ebb and flow that goes through that at different times. And, we all have community outside of Indie Tribe, but we're also, especially concerning music, I'd say the primary community for each other with how, it comes out in the art. I think we've learned a lot in just how to engage in each other's walk, and how to really be Christ-like to each other off the music, to the point where like the way what actually gets put in the track is like, it's just so natural. It's such an outpouring of what is just what we're fluent in our thoughts and our heart's desires. You know, we just want to keep that's the main focus, you know, and even outside of music or anything, like where we are at in our walk and in our relationship with God and our understanding of God is the most important thing.
Yeah, man, that's so good. Last question for you guys. The question used to be, when are you guys doing a song with Lecrae? But that question has changed, and the new question is, when is Indie Tribe doing a song with NF?
Hey man, it's been a great interview, man. Y'all have
Before everybody gets wild, let me give you the real answer, at least for me. The real answer for me is when he wants to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got nothing to do. Let me say this. Let me say this as no big deal. Let's make it a solo thing. For no big deal, when people say that, it's like, bruh, this has nothing to do with my willingness at all. Like, go say post. Like, don't spam my post with collab with NF. Go spam NF's post with collab with no big deal.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Like, move the needle. Like, if you want to move the needle, go spam. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man.
Man,
NF is my hero. I grew up listening to NF. You know, I model my life after NF.
aren't y'all the same age?
Stop it, John.
What in the world is going
Man,
on?
look.
I'm being honest.
Man, I'll bump NF. I'm trying to do a song with Dreamville. Indie Tribe, Dreamville, on the way. That's happening. Remember I said that. Save this.
I'm trying to do a song with NF. So bad, I want to.
That's cool, John. That's cool, John. Anyway, Mowgli, how do you feel, bro?
No comment.
Record. There is a 0% chance that if NF wanted to collab with me, that I would say no. 0% chance.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely doing it.
Collab with me, bro. I'm ready. Hit the DM.
If NF, if you're watching this, NF, if you're watching this,
@gmail.com, hit John Keith, but then say you want to with no big deal. Let's get it popping.
NF, listen, NF, if you're watching this, like, DM me, man. I want to do a song so bad.
Yo, end the interview, bro. Why you let this man go crazy?
Oh man, guys, thank you so much for doing this interview. Yo, it's been real. If you found this video valuable, make sure you give it a like. Make sure you're subscribed. Go run the numbers up on that new NF, that new Indie Tribe album. Yo, love you guys. It's been real. Appreciate y'all. Here's the outro.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Hey, thank you so much for making it till the end of this video. If you found it valuable, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. You can check out one of the other videos related to this that'll be over here. Now, I gotta tell you about a free training I have for anyone that is an entrepreneur, a creative, an artist, but maybe you are unsure on how to find your voice, how to find your niche. I have a free training in the description of this video. Check it out. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next video. Joshua the King came down and bore it all.